Howdy y'all, Whiskey Six here, back again after a very long hiatus. I do apologize for not letting anyone know. Uh, so yeah, figured I'd come back, do a little bit of GTA, and also discuss Fallout 76, which, if you've been living under a rock, that got revealed yesterday. A little 1 minute ish trailer, so that was pretty rad. But yeah, I've got Patrick here. Say hello, Patrick.
Hello all.
Oh, almost choked on my drink. Uh,
Good
well,
intro.
I know, right? There have been a lot of leaks flying around, and I'm going to go ahead and say it now. Don't believe any leaks. Please take them all with a grain of salt. Last thing we need is a bunch of people getting false hype expectations, and then when the reveal happens, everyone's like, that's not what they said. So just please, anything you hear in discussion right now until Sunday, June 10th at around 6:30-ish p.m., I think, Eastern Time, it's all just rumors. That's all it is. So just take those risks out. Also, Patrick, hi. Look at my car.
All right. I'm getting your mini. Oh my gosh.
It's great, isn't it?
It reminds me of something from Despicable Me for some reason.
Oh God!
Oh no.
Oh no! Oh no! 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 No!
Hey, let's start this video off by getting the same. Oh my god. Hey guys, I got a tank. Why does nobody like my tank?
That explains the explosions I was hearing outside.
That was the man causing war.
That was the capitalism I was hearing outside.
Alright then. That
Oh.
checks out. Is your
So-
cardboard damaged?
No.
Cool.
So,
It's tank resistant.
like I was like, okay, so before we got, oh no, before we got rudely interrupted by a armored death machine, I've got a bunch of potential leaks here that I would like to discuss with Patrick here. Like I said, please take this all with a grain of salt. Some of this could potentially be true. Some of it does make
I'm
sense.
guessing you don't want a back rub.
But,
How can I help?
fuck that guy pulling out in front of me while I was
so
doing
you're
100
serious
miles an
now,
hour.
And you need my help.
How dare
Okay,
he?
okay.
I'm right. But yeah, so, well, I'm going to try to do this and also talk about this at the same time. This is not going to be easy. Hello, officer.
Don't hit that cop.
Alright, so first on the list is, let me look. The game is still an RPG. So, Patrick, if you'd like to offer your thoughts on that.
If it does stay to the true terms of an RPG, I'm okay with it. I like the stat ways that Fallout works with. How you have the special stats, and then you have your actual skills. Makes every character unique and different. Gives you different play styles. It's kind of like how Skyrim was. How everybody could do things their way. You could be a master of all. You could be a master of a few. Gave you diverse characters. Especially with the one thing I loved was persuasion, because that's my thing.
What?
Okay, that's a player. I was afraid. I was like, is that a computer?
What is this lobby? Oh,
The best lobby.
I love it. And we gotta do gun running in this
Anyway,
nightmare.
so I'd like the RPG to still be there.
Right, I agree, 100%.
So, that's my thoughts.
That's good too, because a lot of people are saying it wouldn't be a traditional RPG, but I think if this leak, and we're going to be talking about these leaks as if they are true to make it easier to discuss.
Mm-hmm.
But again, I can't say it enough. Grain of salt here, people. Do not trust this. Take it.
Yep.
Be very cautious with this. So the next one is
Take
voice.
it and imagine what it would be, but then,
Right.
don't build up your expectations.
Yes, exactly.
Because it may very well be
Imagine
completely
what it
opposite.
would be like. Patrick's absolutely right. So, moving on to the next bullet here. Voiced protagonist is optional.
I actually really like this because it appeals to both the new and old, because there are people who loved the old Fallout's and everything, which honestly it holds true to my heart. Because I started with Fallout 3 and slowly kind of worked my way through everything, and I finally played like the first Fallout months ago, and I love it. It's kind of frustrating to play, but it's nice. But it's the whole I get to choose what my character says, but he doesn't have a voice. He has the voice that I give him. And it also makes it easier on the company to make a bunch of dialogue choices that's just text instead of having it all voiced out, which is kind of what made people not really like speech for Fallout 4 as much, because you had 4 dialogue options every time, and they were all generally about the same. You had one that was a question, one that agreed, one that disagreed, and then you had one that was like sarcastic or something like that. So it's predictable. It didn't give you too much variation with your character. Some people liked it. Some people liked the voice, which, I mean, I'm not hating on the voice actor for 4. It's exceptional work, but I like that you can choose, because there are some people that like the voice acting, some people that would rather choose to have their character be voiced by them in their head. I don't know. I just like the options there. I'm always open to cool features that are giving you an option of turning it on and off.
Right, I agree with that 100%. And I'm one of the people that like the voice protagonist in Fallout 4, but I do like the idea that if this is true, Bethesda thought about it. It's like, maybe we should give people the choice, because it's like you said with how Fallout 4 had the predictability wheel, as I like to call it.
Yep.
If you have an unvoiced protagonist, you can really have a lot of variety and flavor in your dialogue. Like New Vegas is one of the best examples I can give for that.
Yep.
That had some phenomenal fucking dialogue. Yeah, thank you.
But the only thing I can attribute to it is back in the days of Knights of the Old Republic and Dragon Age, those were the games that kind of got me into just text. Just like you have 5 or 6 different options of what to say, and none of them really pertain to one thing or the other. Like, one will be asking this question, one will be forwarding the dialogue, one will be wanting to kill this guy because he looked at you wrong. Everything branched out into different paths, and you could give your character your own voice. You could be the person you want to be. You could give him a gruff voice and make him very nice. You can give him that kind of contrast. You can kind of imagine in your head how it works. Because the game is, I don't know, whenever you have an RPG, it's like a Dungeons and Dragons game, but it's slightly condensed to make it simpler and easier on the player.
Yeah, anyways, sorry.
Obviously not this game.
Let me do it again. Yeah. Anywho.
Threshing the needle in a whole new way. Anyway, just it's supposed to make it simpler, and then you have the game itself entertaining you with the graphics. That's the whole theater of the mind thing going in. But
Right.
I don't know. I'm probably just old school, but like the voice acting, I do love.
Oh, absolutely.
Some lines are just awesome when
Yeah,
they're voice acted.
my
'Cause
favorite
you
one-
get that tone.
Oh, yeah.
Go ahead.
My favorite one is you're playing the male protagonist, and you go onto the USS Constitution, and they Captain Ironsides tells you about the ship. You pick sarcastic. You can almost hear you can hear the voice actor trying not to laugh, and it makes it so much
I
better.
love that.
But I'm gonna go ahead and move
There's
on.
just so many good examples of that.
Oh yeah.
Anyway, go
The next
ahead.
couple bullet points go back more towards what we've already said with the last two, like more dialogue options. You know, proper skills make a return, like sneak, sneak, unarmed, stuff like that. The big one I want to talk about right now is there is a major emphasis on rebuilding, aka settlement building, which a couple of players can partake in doing, or you can go solo and do it, or you can just flat out ignore it. Now, I want to go ahead and offer a little insight on this to maybe make the discussion on this bullet point better. His wording really stands out to me, when he says a couple of players can do it, because that does seem to confirm that Fallout 76 will have some kind of multiplayer aspect to it.
Multiplayer.
And I think that means limited, like maybe a drop in, drop out Borderlands-esque system.
See, I like that idea.
Mm-hmm. So do I.
Just, mainly because I don't know how people feel about this, but I was never the biggest into the settlement building, just because it was so complicated and convoluted that I was like, you know what, this isn't for me. I'm gonna go kill some ghouls and robots, make myself feel better. But then Cody here has showed me so many settlements for like, oh man, they were so thought out, and there's like all this electricity and wires. I'm like, I probably could have done this if I tried, but I don't have the desire and motivation to do it. Like my brain's just like, this is gonna take a lot of brain power. How about we don't do this? But that way, if we do have multiple people, you could have one person building a settlement and the other one going out and collecting like resources, and then coming back and saying, okay, what do we need? We need a generator. Okay, I got the stuff to make it. Then you make a generator, you put it down. One guy's planning it all, but then the other guy's helping make it, and it becomes a settlement for the both
absolutely.
of them.
See, I do
I like that. But then, if you want to do it alone, it's just like Fallout 4. Just like, man,
and I think
myself.
A lot of people felt that Fallout 4 was a very like test bed game. Like a lot of the things they did in it didn't feel like fully done, and now it makes sense when you think of that. Yeah, let's not talk about that. Because people are starting to think now that we know that building is coming into this game, like hardcore, they think really now that Fallout 4 was just a test. That a lot of what they were trying to do was just unfleshed out. But yeah, I do agree. I like your train of thought with that if multiple people partake in the building of a settlement, one guy can be the supply getter, one guy's the builder, the other dude's like, all right, we need this and this. So I really like that. I'm going to go ahead and jump to the next bullet point. Oh, did you have something, Patrick?
Oh, I was drowning. I'm sorry.
Oh, okay. Main quest line, and yeah, Bethesda actually listened to Fallout 4's feedback. They're aiming for a plethora of side quests that aren't just Radiant. And this also goes with bullet point, with the main personal story is Vault Tech focused, and an example of a major player in the story is an Irish ghoul who also acts as one of the... I'm trying to drive and do this at the same time. It's one of the game's 5 companions.
It's all good.
This guy is a great character who designed many of the vaults and who is married to Stanislaus Braun's daughter. For anyone that didn't play Fallout 3, Stanislaus Braun was in Vault 112, I believe. He was... Spoiler alert. That's where your dad is in a simulation that was designed by Stanislaus. Anywho... he's married to Stanislaus Braun's daughter, but whose work was stolen by Braun and twisted into the Vault Tech experiments, of which the ghoul feels immense guilt for. He calls Vault 76 the only true example of what his work was intended for. What do you have to say about that, Patrick?
I have to say I like the way that it's going, because whenever I saw the teaser, I kind of saw that it was more in the vault, which that vault looked very interesting to me.
It did. It really did.
It didn't look like a lot of the other ones. It looked normal almost. Like it. And Fallout 3
I'll get into that.
Probably the most normal vault in the game series.
Vault 101.
But then this one comes out and it looks like there was no fighting, there was no nothing. It was like everyday life felt pretty good. Everybody was kind of normal. And I feel like that's going to kind of come into the story, which is just going to be, hey, this is what the vaults were meant to be like. And then you go out and see kind of how the other vaults have been doing, and you see how the horrific stuff has been going on in them. And you start to kind of get a grasp on that situation. Maybe we find out more about how that worked. Because in Fallout 4, you kind of, once you get out of the vault, or once you come to and you're exploring the first vault 101, you kind of see a little bit of how there's like a plan. There's going to be a way for things to kind of come back once the nukes dropped, and then everybody kind of would get out of the vault and try to rebuild society. There was a Fallout plan, but obviously that didn't go through. So maybe this
Right.
will kind of expand on how everything went wrong, if there's like a mastermind that wanted this to happen so that they could have some kind of plan. It's a very open-ended idea, but it starts at the very beginning, which is the vaults, which
And it's
I'm
funny.
interested to see how this goes.
It's
Go ahead.
funny that you mentioned that this vault has no like issues with it, because this vault didn't have any issues with it. Vault 76 is one of the very few control vaults Vault-Tec made, and that just means that this vault had no experiments. It was meant to help people. It was a control group.
You-
This is one of the vaults that was meant to be like, hey, you're going to go out. And this vault was supposed to open 20 years ago, but the chronometer reads about 25, so it probably just means that it's been open for 25. It opened when it was supposed to. It's just it's a little bit further in, more than likely. People are reading into that
See,
a little
what
bit too
I'm
much.
curious, what I'm curious about is, if it's been open for about 5 years, does that mean they have like an open policy of, if you want to go in and explore the vault and see what we've been doing, you can come in. If you want to leave the vault and see what's up in the world outside, you can leave. Like, how is their policy on that? Because in all the other ones, it's like sometimes the people inside the vault would leave, maybe. Sometimes they wouldn't, and then good job, Cody.
Thank you.
Sometimes they wouldn't let anyone in. They'd be
Exactly.
like, no, we don't want to trust you because out there people kill everyone. In here, it's safety. We're not letting you in, not because we don't like you, we don't trust you.
Exactly.
So
I think
I'm
I
just
am interested to see how
wondering-
that happens, because I have a feeling, and I know a lot of people are starting to think this too, is that Vault 76 is sort of your base. You can go back anytime you want, and I kind of understand that, and I kind of like that too.
I could see it. I'd like it as a start. Because, I mean, everyone kind of needs an area, like in Fallout New Vegas, whenever you get the apartment, you're like, I'm only going to be here.
Right.
You just
So-
store all your crap there.
I want
That's
to
it.
move on to one of the cooler bullet points here before I drive off on a beach. It's a major antagonist or ally, depending on choice, is former U.S. Army captain who likens himself to Hannibal of Carthage and has giant radiated elephants in his army who he saved from a local zoo. His men have no tacky Carthage outfits like Caesar's Legion wore Romanesque skirts and football padding, though.
When I saw this specifically, I had a mixture of emotion, but the majority of it was good because, one, just the idea of that character, just, okay, let's find another character that a character ought to be like. And they picked
Hannibal.
Hannibal, which, if you go back and look at what Hannibal was and what he did, you don't mess with Hannibal, because I'm pretty sure he gave the Romans a run for their money.
He
'Cause,
absolutely did.
Again, he had an army of, hey, let's ride these giant elephants, and the Romans just couldn't do anything. They were ready for, like, man-on-man combat. Then they saw elephants, these massive creatures with tusks and everything, and the men were riding them. Which I'm actually pretty interested to see irradiated elephants. But I also like the choice, because that's another thing
Yes,
from,
absolutely.
the older RPG games of, hey, this guy's been your enemy for like the majority of the game, but now at the end, if you feel like you kind of understand him, you can choose to be on his side. Screw the guys who you think are quote-unquote right. Let's go with this guy, because you like him.
And that definitely harkens back to, and what I hope this translates to is because I reread this at first, and I thought when I first read it, I thought it meant he was just like the main enemy, and it was going to be another Fallout 3, like, oh, the Enclave, you got to fight him. But this makes me think that there's going to be more than one faction, because who is going to be the enemy of him, you know, or who's going to be your enemy if you ally with him, you know, something like that.
Well, yeah, I think it's just gonna be if you, because in like, for one example, in Dragon Age, one of the games has it where there's an enemy, and you're fighting him all throughout the game, and then towards the end, you're trying to unify everyone, and he's there, and it's like, you can fight him and kill him. You can fight him and exile him. You can fight him and make him fight the real final fight, and he'll die, but you'll live, and everybody's okay. Or you can just straight up kill one of your party members and let him join you, and then he immediately becomes an ally, and he's okay with whatever you do. He just like
Right.
it's such a weird paradigm shift to be, hey, I've been traveling with this one guy, I'm okay with him, but I'm gonna kill him and take this guy because he's a bit whiny, but he's determined. It's like that kind of idea. But in this, it sounds like he maybe the only one, because maybe they're gonna have like different factions, and maybe the different factions will be at war with each other, and they'll be in their own quest line, kind of like how companions and all that, like they have
Yeah.
their own wars inside the quest line. But then the main guy is going to have more of an effect on the main story with like vault tech and stuff like that. So maybe they'll all play a part like in New Vegas. Maybe they won't. I don't know, but I'd like to see. I don't know which one I'd like to see. I guess I'd like to see more condensed stuff for each individual faction. Like maybe these three factions don't like each other, so you go into a quest line with one or two of them, and you start to see more of one side or the other, and they have
Right.
like an inner war, and you kind of leave the main story, instead of having like 6 factions that are all kind of at each other's throats, you have like 2, and so that way you have more choice in who you're allying with. And maybe like towards the end, depending on who you ally with in the different quest lines, then it starts to kind of get more narrow. Like maybe you could have one faction ally with the other faction, and then they kind of team up on what's ever left. That would be pretty interesting.
I do like that idea too. We'll come back to the idea of multiple factions because there was another set of leaks. I'll probably have to load up the YouTube video that I saw it on. But again, leaks are leaks. Don't trust them. I'm gonna say that like
Yep.
18 times. But
This is just
one part
speculation of fans that are
that's
very hyped for the game.
okay.
What?
That's the Avenger.
I know.
This bullet point I really like personally, and I'll touch on it why once I read it. More Lovecraftian god worshipping inbred rednecks similar to Point Lookout. So the
Anyone
reason
like
that
Far
one,
Cry 5?
right? The reason this one gets to me, and I like it so much, is because Fallout 3 had a really good. It started it all with the, and a lot of people are gonna know what I'm talking about here, the Dunwich building in Fallout 3.
Mm-hmm.
That started it all, because in the bottom of it was a Lovecraftian worship area, and you can get the melee bobblehead there. But that was really cool, because that was the first time we'd saw something like that. Of course, they call it the old ones in the game to avoid, pissing someone off.
Yep.
But then they went, because it mentioned Point Lookout, and that's a really good point to bring up, because it got real deep on the Lovecraftian aspect with the Krivbekna and the whole family about it and everything. So to see that potentially come back makes me very happy.
I just like the idea of crazy worshippers, cultists, that kind of crap. I like
Right.
that because it kind of makes you feel better about killing them. Like if you have any kind of moral dilemmas with killing people in the video games, it's like you see these guys, you're like, yeah, no, I'm pretty okay with that.
Right.
But also would like something to actually happen with Lovecraftian gods and stuff like that. Like at the very end, maybe you piss off enough of them that they actually summon Cthulhu, but he's like a frog, and he's like jumping around because they messed it up. And so now you have to find Cthulhu the frog and,
Kill him.
I don't know, kiss him, and he becomes like a human, and you're like, you're my companion now. He's like, Cthulhu guesses it's okay.
Bethesda would pull some
What
stupid
is
shit
gun?
like that.
I'd be okay with it.
I would
Do
be
you know
too.
who this is? This is Cthulhu in human form. He is my bitch.
We're gonna do one of
Anyway.
these, Patrick. I like the.
Alright.
I would really like it if the Lovecraftian stuff came back. Here's a really simple bullet point: no super mutants.
I find this to be an interesting idea because
And I
it
can
will make
explain
some
why it's
people
like
very
that.
angry. Yep. Goes with lore, interesting enough.
It really does. So the reason why I know super mutants is because again the date's 2106. That is confirmed. The date is confirmed. Let me invite you. I'm not the host. Shit. Hurry up, Patrick. There, I sent you an invite.
Okay, there you go.
That's
Loading
in-game music. They're launching the session.
I mean, I guess I'm loaded in.
It doesn't say you're joined.
I don't know. Anyway, go ahead and talk.
But yeah, the year 2106, that is confirmed because that's in the trailer. So, and that's just when the Master starts to become a presence. And for anyone that doesn't know, the Master was who started the Super Mutants to begin with. Yeah, no, I'm getting out of this job because you're not in it. I can figure out how to do it. Hold on. I don't know what I'm doing here. There we go. Sorry. Anyways, like I was saying, the Master had just gotten exposed to FEV. He's in Mariposa off on the West Coast, all that good stuff. Also, Vault 87's a pretty good far bit away, and I highly doubt that it would have been active enough to make a Super Mutant Army, because the Super Mutant Army didn't get going real well on the East Coast, at least on DC, until way later. You know, maybe another 100 years.
Yep. So that checks out, and even though it checks out, I feel like there's going to be a good group of people that are very unhappy that there are no super mutants, mainly because they're both terrifying, fun to fight, sometimes interesting, and mainly hilarious.
I think it's a good breath of fresh air that we don't have to fight the same enemy again.
Hey, I'm cool with it. I never liked fighting them anyway. Although I did like the companions.
Yeah, that is true. This is an interesting one. But Harold is in the region and game somehow.
That I can't even speculate on. I'm just going to sit down, wait, and oh god, we're playing. Are we?
No,
Oh
I'm
no,
in a
that's
loading
right.
screen.
Took me out.
So, it's funny that this is mentioned because at the time Harold isn't a tree. Harold is still a ghoul at this point.
Wonder how that's gonna work. Maybe. Oh my gosh! What if our character is the one who makes him into a tree?
That would be really odd. It's weird that he's all the way in Virginia this early because he's supposed to. Because he's a Fallout. Oh, which Fallout is he? It's either 1 or 2.
It might
We're
be
in
2.
different lobbies,
Are we?
probably.
Oh crap! I have 28 people.
I have 26, so yeah, we're in different lobbies. I'm gonna go start that Martin mission again and see if I can get you in it.
All right.
Yeah, he's supposed to be in one of the earlier Fallouts. You said it. What'd you say?
What?
I think it's Fallout 2 he's supposed to be in.
Yeah, I said it's probably 2. Then again,
Okay.
I have not actually played 2, but I've
Neither
played
have I.
1, and I'm pretty sure he's more likely in 2. But
Yeah.
again, could be wrong.
And anyone that doesn't know, Bob's the tree. Harold's a ghoul that got exposed to some kind of strange version of FEV, and it made a tree fuse into his
He's a
body that
tree.
slowly takes him over.
Yeah. He
He
is a
called the
tree
tree
man.
Bob. So, I don't think you're going to make it into this one. Nope.
I never got an invite.
I never sent one because it was already full by the time I joined. So yeah,
then
it's
I
weird
guess
that
that's why.
Harold is going to pop up. And this is one that I personally don't really like. Yeah, Bethesda is switching the lore up a good bit. Precursors to the Brotherhood of Steel are somehow in Virginia, even though they originated in California. Can't say I was happy to find that out. It's pretty lazy. And I got to agree. 100% I got to agree with that. That is lazy.
Yeah, I can see it, but I have to be optimistic because I'm hoping, since we don't know that much, that there's something behind it. There's some reason. Because I
Right.
mean, I was trying to think of reasons to argue this, because I told Cody before we did this, I don't know the majority of the history of the Brotherhood of Steel. I know enough from the games, but I haven't really, you know, tried to look into it. But I thought, well, maybe since it's the beginnings of the Brotherhood of Steel, maybe there's like little groups here and there that kind of believe this. Because I mean, there's got to be more than one group that's thinking about this idea, the technology and everything, before all the Brotherhood of Steel comes together and actually becomes a movement. So maybe this is like the beginning of the branch in West Virginia. Maybe maybe it takes years and years, hundreds of years, until they finally become a part of it. But it's like the beginnings of the people who would become the branch of West Virginia for the Brotherhood of Steel. So I'm just saying, maybe this is the beginnings. Maybe they're gonna fit it in somehow. Maybe, I don't know. Maybe there's a whole storyline behind it. Maybe you have some impact on it. Maybe you kind of spark the idea. I'm hoping that there's a lot more player involvement with the factions, like not just, oh, you help them with this, you help them with that, you win this, you're now the leader of that guy. Like, you actually help the organization instead of just helping the people of the organization. That would be pretty interesting.
Right, absolutely. The only
But
thing
I don't know. I'm keeping an open mind. Hey, yawn all you want. It's pretty much night.
It is night. The things that get me about the Brotherhood of Steel being this far out is the Brotherhood's still extremely young. It's only been 25 years since the bombs fell. I don't see any way for Maxon to have sent, Roger Maxon to have sent forces this far east yet. I mean, they don't even have the first airship that they deployed. Hell, they barely have their own name established. I don't even think they call themselves the Brotherhood of Steel yet.
Well, did they say that it was going to be the straight up Brotherhood of Steel, or was it like
They said
a
Brotherhood of
sect
Steel.
of it, like a faction?
They just said Brotherhood of Steel. And the only sect that got deployed east, sorry, wasn't even really supposed to go that way. There was Lion that said we want to go that way, and they were like, or no, they did. They told them to go that way. They said, Lion, take these Brotherhood guys and go east, and then they made it to the Citadel. But that wasn't until like 22 something.
I don't know.
So
I feel like that might be one of the things
This is
that
a giant
makes or break.
retcon. If this is true, it's gonna be a giant retcon. But we're gonna move on. The main quest is written by Chris Avalon, so it should be good. Secondary main quest, aka the Faction Wars, are written by Emil Pagliarulo. I can't say that. Emil Pag something. As are made of the side quests. So that just tells me that the story and the side quests are written by two phenomenal writers.
See, one of the things I got from it was Faction Wars. That's one of the secondaries, so I'm thinking it's probably more, whenever you go into a faction, it's like what I was trying to say. How it was more of a, the factions intermingling with each other and kind of how that works.
Right.
So that's why I got that idea, which I think is a pretty cool idea. And if it's being written by him, I'm pretty sure it's going to be good. I mean, there may be some things here and there that we may not agree with, but hey, for the most part, it's probably going to be pretty epic. And then the main story,
find that YouTube video
just
too
gonna,
while you talk.
I'm going to leave it with him because it's already got a good base to jump off of.
Right.
He's a good writer and he makes stuff work together, so I'm not really worried about story at this point. It's more the features and how things play together with each other.
Right. And even, I'm going to go and say it now, because I'm seeing a lot of different videos. Side note, new faction confirmed maybe for Honor. That's interesting.
Wait, what?
Yeah, new faction. I'll have to watch the video on that later.
Holy crap.
Ah, here we go.
Okay, that's discussion for another time.
Yeah. Like I said, this Fallout 76 discussion is not ending after tonight, after this video.
Nope.
Okay, I got the video loaded up that's talking about more of the leaks. Once it gets everything out, I'll go through some of the the points we haven't covered yet. And I think no, that's a little bit more. And this video is by MXR Mods if you want to check it out. The title is Fallout 76 Leak. There will be no external mods, only Creation Club. So if you want to check this video out for yourself, I highly recommend you go check out his channel. Give him all the support and love. Phenomenal channel. Waiting for all these bullet points. Okay, so it's going to be something that just keeps going, so I'll have to just cover it as it goes, I guess. Alright, so starting now, I got a lot to talk about. Also, Patrick, are you in the lobby?
Yes, I am.
Okay. So the first one, this is cool because open world, base building centered, but improvised weapons. And it goes in again on strong emphasis on building and improvised weapons as opposed to weapon customization we saw in Fallout 4.
This makes me think more like, along with the building, these improvised weapons makes me think more of a like Minecraft, Dead Rising type game where it's more about like get resources, build a small settlement, try to find weapons if you're out of ammo for stuff. Seems more of a survival type thing, which I mean, I guess Fallout has always been survival, but more so,
He's more emphasized.
emphasis on the humanity of your character. He's not just
Right.
an invincible being that can live through anything. I mean, he probably still can, but it kind of gives you
We'll have
more of
vets.
a breath of fresh air.
Right. There's another
So,
bullet point on here that I like. Let me see here. Oh, this is cool. It's based along the interstate in Northern Virginia. It's based on the
Interesting.
interstate in Northern Virginia. Oh, you're just saying, like, cool. Okay, I got you.
Yep.
So it sounds like we're going to have a lot of... See, that makes me think, is there potential for vehicles, since it's mainly interstate? Or could be, rather.
Maybe. I mean, they're already doing some pretty crazy, wacky stuff already, so
Yeah.
I could see it. Maybe not like big, giant vehicles, maybe the way that Far Cry 5 does it, but definitely potential for some kind of vehicle to get you around faster. Although they
Right.
could always just do a fast travel transit type thing instead of just looking at a location and transporting yourself. It's like you get into a vehicle, you say you want to go there, and it kind of GTA style does it, but then it skips on
Yeah.
its own.
Upgraded Fallout 4 engine. I'll get some more of them loaded up. Give me a minute. The voice protagonist is back. Here we go. This goes into what we were talking about with factions earlier. 6 factions, 3 of which are notables that we've seen in previous games. Don't know more than that. They're being very tight-lipped. So that to me sounds like we're getting the real major factions back, like probably like Brotherhood, Enclave, which neither of those make any sense, but whatever. So,
I mean, yeah, I thought you of all people would be happy for
see,
Enclave.
I want Enclave representation in my Fallout games, but I want it lore friendly, please. I don't want it to be like, oh, they suddenly magically appear because 25 years after the bombs fell, the Enclave are still like waking up and trying to figure shit out.
Again, maybe
all I'm
they'll find
saying.
a way to do it. Maybe it will just be straight up lazy and, hey, there's a whole other part of the game. Just because one part isn't lore based, people won't really care, and then they
Like,
may
it's not going to
just
keep me
realize
from
that
enjoying
everything's
the
wrong.
game. It's not. Oh God,
sorry.
Patrick. It's not going to keep me from
I just
enjoying the
wanted to drive
game.
next
It's
to you.
just I'm going to have to look at this as like an extended universe game. So
Yeah, see, that's why I'm like, I feel like if they go that route,
ow.
alright. They go that route, they have to know that people aren't going to be the most happy with it.
Right.
So I feel like if they do that, it's not just being lazy, they know what they're doing. So they either want to piss a lot of people off or they have some kind of idea. Hoping they have an idea, very well maybe lazy writing.
What do you need exactly?
It's all about perspective. Then again,
Right.
grain of salt.
So you don't want to get in serious trouble, huh?
Get in, Patrick.
Okay, leave it with me.
Oh, I was wondering why we're doing that.
I got some more here. Harold will make an appearance. We knew that retcon. As will young First Maxon, and that means Roger Maxon, the founder of the Brotherhood.
Mm-hmm.
So that's kind of odd that they would bring, because see that makes even less sense. That completely destroys any hope of a canon way that they bring the Brotherhood over, because it's just like, here's Roger Maxon, he's over here now. Like, I don't know, what to just deal with it, I guess. I hope that leak's not true. I hope all the Brotherhood leaks aren't true. This
Yeah.
numerous retcons, which scares me. Laying groundwork for Fallout 5, which is already in the works. And then this is kind of a scary one for anyone that plays on PC real good. Console, not so much. No external mods outside of Creation Club. They want to get rid of free mods.
Yeah. See, I see the repercussions of this, but I also personally don't really care because I like mods, but they kind of take something out of the game. They're kind of oh, I already beat the game, I'm just gonna install some mods to make the game a little bit more fun and interesting.
Right.
Because if you start doing that, like at the beginning of the game or the middle of the game or something, you automatically don't care about the story and the quest anymore. You care about implementing the mods to make the game a little bit more fun. Like, for God's sake, the Randy Savage Deathclaw mod.
I'm not going to talk
I
about
love
that.
it. I will talk about it until the day's done, but that's another thing for another day. But that kind of stuff, like, it takes away from the game and makes it into a very different game. Still a beautiful, awesome game, but
it's different now.
Then again, other radio stations, kind of
right.
sad.
With that, though, that's the thing. They're going to try and get rid of... They're going to have to shut down an entire website, Nexus. They're not going to be able to do that without an extreme backlash from the community. I think they're going to... You know what this sounds like to me? This sounds like that whole fiasco they had with Skyrim back in the day, where they tried to make paid mods with Skyrim before Creation Club was ever announced.
Yeah.
And that immediately backfired. It's going to happen again. Bethesda can't learn their lesson on this.
Well, they're just thinking, well, Fallout's a bit of a different community, and then it's like...
And I heard a good point. MXR in that same video, seriously, check out his stuff. And I know no, I'm not getting a shout out from MXR. I wish I was. That'd be the coolest thing in the world. I just really like his content. And I want people to get recognized for the work that they put out, because without that video, I wouldn't know some of these leaks. Air quote, leaks. He brought up a good point of why is Bethesda doing it, and it's because microtransactions are trendy. What's Creation Club? A really horribly disguised microtransaction system.
Yep.
And so if they're wondering,
which honestly,
why,
whenever they first announced Creation Club, I was not happy, and I was hoping it was kind of a joke. It was not a joke. It was completely serious, and
it took up an E3 slot, which was the dumbest thing in the world.
Yeah. That was one of those things whenever they said there was going to be an E3
sucked.
and then they showed it. I was like, I was expecting something good.
Me too.
Why am I? Every time there's something good, there's usually some bad to make it worse, because it's the world we live in today. Like Halo 5.
That hurts my soul. I got a point to bring up about that, too, after I finish up this little discussion. Bethesda wants to get in on the microtransaction market, and they can't, because so many free awesome mods are better than anything they could ever make on Creation Club.
Yep. Because they just don't have the creativity of players who actually play the game.
And it's sad, because Creation Club has some of the better mod authors backing it. It's just the mod authors aren't putting in their full effort. They're like, no, I don't want to do this.
I feel like they should just, what's the word? Boycott it. Yeah, that's what I'm thinking.
Oh, yeah. Wow, we have not made a lot of product in the time we've been talking. Oh, well.
Nope. We haven't really done much of anything, to be honest.
We just drove around and talked about Fallout, which I'm cool with.
I mean, I'm cool with it.
Let's keep driving around.
In your super expensive car.
Yep.
Totally not made out of cardboard.
Not this one. Dad, that's all the leaks that we've got right now. I would like to delve into some more of the aspects that we do know for sure. and maybe ones we don't really know concrete, but we think are solid. I know we talked about co-op, but do you think it has a place in Fallout 76? Do you think it could actually work?
I think it's one of those things. I think they were talking about co-op mainly because they want to squash all the mods in the past, like the mod for Skyrim, the mod for Fallout 4, the whole multiplayer like play with
Yeah,
friends
the big
mods.
one was New
They
Vegas.
squashed the crap out of them. Yeah, that one. They squashed the crap out of them because they're like no, either because they
We
want to
want to
do
do it.
it, but they may not have the technology or something. Yeah, we
Right.
have the technology. We're able to do it, and then they're like, no, we want to do it. So maybe now they have access. I don't know what it is that they have now that allows them to do it, but now they're trying to do it. And I feel like I don't know with how things are today, they have to be very careful because they could very well screw it up. Because all we
Right.
really want, like I said, is like one or two friends, maximum of four players in a game total. And I don't know how it would be where you'd have one person in the northeastern corner and one person in like the southernmost area of the map, and they're both doing their own thing. Maybe they're on their own quest. Maybe they're blowing stuff up. Maybe it'll be a drop in, drop out thing where you have to be close to the main player, where you're just kind of an add-on character to blow stuff up even more, kill stuff deader. I'd be okay with that, but they have to handle it very carefully because
They do. They really do.
the way the Bethesda does stuff, they do things great, but they also do some things very
Horrible.
not great. And sometimes it works out. Sometimes you get the glitches that are hilarious. Sometimes you get the glitches that make you pull your hair out. Sometimes your save doesn't actually save, but it says it's saved, but then you load it and it doesn't actually save.
Or it's corrupted.
Don't even get me started on that. But,
I had that
it's
happen
one of
to me
those things,
before.
but I want to be able to start up my game. If a friend wants to join in, he can join in. We both have our guns. I don't care if we're in a completely different area doing our own thing. I don't care if he's at a settlement and I'm off killing some cultists, stealing some lube and duct tape.
Whoa.
Lubricant, not get your brain out of the gutter, man.
Okay.
Anyway, I don't care about the distance or anything. I just want to know that I'm going to have another buddy or two or maybe three that are going to be helping me in this whatever kind of wasteland, whatever kind of monotony, whatever kind of dangerous insects or people or machines. I want to go through it with them, but it also has to be the quest lines and the environment, because what made thank you what made 3 in New Vegas feel so nice is it kind of made you feel, I guess, almost isolated. It was your own journey. Like, you may have had companions to help you, but they weren't really all that. Once you got to a point, they were just kind of bodies that had guns and armor that would help you in a tough battle. So for the most part, it felt like you were on your own. It was you against the wasteland, trying to see if you could survive against very difficult enemies. And New Vegas did this with the survival difficulty. The whole, you need to drink, you need to eat, you need to sleep. It was very realistic, and you needed to get through and survive against actual odds.
Right.
So, I don't know. I feel like 76 needs to have some kind of emphasis. If you're going to play co-op, it needs to have something to make you want to do co-op. Like that, maybe that's why the building mechanism is coming in. Maybe you can build a settlement, maybe you can bring in certain people, maybe you can build a settlement for a faction and make it an outpost. Maybe you can have some friends stationed there while you go off and do a quest. Maybe a cool thing would be if you had a settlement and a friend there, and there's a Radiant quest or something where there are some raiders that were attacking your settlement and your friend needs help. So they press a button and suddenly you're like in the northeastern corner and you need to rush back. Maybe there's a vehicle there to kind of help you get onto the interstate, get back to your settlement, maybe snipe some of the guys, help your buddy out, and then you get the quest, you both get pretty decent experience, and you get some gain with the faction. that would be a cool idea. I don't know if they're going to be able to do it, but it's an idea.
And I really like that idea as well. I think if they're going to do multiplayer, I like the idea you brought up with drop in, drop out co-op, and just to add on to it just a little bit. I think what would be fun is like you pop in and you're near your friend. You pop in as your own created character. You pop in, you both say, "Hey, what's up?" They're like, "All right, yeah, let's go. Let's do stuff." And then from there, it's just if your friend wants to go off on some wild tangent and go do whatever he wants to do, he can do it. There's no limitation. I feel like just letting your friends go on a wild romp while you're like, I'm gonna do the main quest. You just go fuck shut up. I think that could really work out, personally.
It could work. And again, if that happens, I'm cool with it. If it doesn't, I'll take whatever co-op I can get. But I don't know.
Oh yeah.
Then again, Bethesda ESO is okay, but we don't want ESO for Fallout 76.
We don't want
it to be an
FSO.
MMO.
Or
Yeah.
we don't want
What we
Fallout
want-
Online.
We want Fallout with friends, not Fallout Online.
With a bunch of assholes.
Yeah. We want to play with people who are maybe the same age as us and maybe have the same value
Goals.
for Fallout. Not the new kids who sit here like, oh, dude, I'm in a rusty piece of crap with a pipe gun. I'm going to snipe this dude with no attachments. Boom. Oh, I got a headshot. 360 no scope. Did it. Yeet.
Yeah, that's what scares me a little bit now that you mention it. There's going to be a lot of clickbaity, like, if it is like an online version of Fallout, I troll these people at Fallout, and they're just trying to enjoy their fucking game. Like, I feel that's
Yeah.
going to happen.
Brotherhood of Steel. Brotherhood of Cheese.
Oh, air horns. Pew, 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 pew. It's going to be something stupid
Yep.
like that. All right.
I mean,
Well-
we're not saying that ESO is like that. ESO is not
Okay.
that, but it's also not the best. It's interesting with friends,
It's
but
okay.
there are douchebags. It is not a complete and total waste of time and piece of crap.
All right.
I'm
Well,
not being sarcastic. I'm being serious.
I think that's going to do it for the Fallout 76 discussion, at least for tonight. As more leaks and stuff and more information roll around, I'll definitely get on, pop a video discussing it with Patrick here. I know once E3 hits, for sure, we're going to be doing a discussion on the full gameplay reveal, everything they talked about. But just as more leaks pop up, I'll make sure to try and keep it as covered and up to date as I can. Before we go, real quick, Patrick, I have a small tidbit of news you might like.
Go ahead.
So the guy on Reddit who initially predicted Fallout 76, like what the title of the game would be, has gone on record as saying that there will be a new Halo game at E3 this year.
I will take it with a grain of salt.
Absolutely.
And I will hope for a flood-based survival game.
That would be
If
so much
Halo
fun.
6 is whatsoever talked about or revealed or anything, I will kind of have my hopes dashed just a little bit because I'd like them to wait a little bit longer, but I can kind of understand with the way that Microsoft is, and they said they'd take their time, and they have taken a decent amount of time already.
Oh,
I
yeah,
would
they
just like
have.
them to take a little bit longer, but I see an optimistic interest in it. That's what I'm going to call it.
Absolutely. I think
As I
it's going to be
air
a potential
thrust
for something
around.
huge. I think it'd be a good breakup from
Or maybe it will just be
monotony.
another Spartan assault.
I hope not. I hope it's like another ODST. Anywho, I just wanted to get that little tidbit out there for anyone that cares and for let Patrick know. But I appreciate y'all for watching. If you have any suggestions for what the next video could be, even though I hope it's going to be Operation Parabellum for Siege on Tuesday. Hopefully I'll be able to get that recorded and then up on Wednesday for y'all. But if you have any thoughts, discussions, opinions about Fallout 76, any theories, any speculation, any news for it that you've heard, please drop it down in the comments below. And as always, I will see y'all in the next video.